Look at the devices we use every day. We carry screens capable of rendering millions of pixels and virtual reality headsets that track our every movement. Yet some of the most consumed media on the planet is entirely invisible. Podcasts, audiobooks, and streaming music have massive, dedicated audiences who spend billions of hours every year simply listening. This ongoing popularity of audio is a historical puzzle. For more than 70 years, industry experts have confidently predicted that purely auditory media was on the verge of extinction. Every time a major new technology arrived, it was supposed to end the broadcast era. Television in the 1950s, the internet in the 1990s, and digital streaming in the 2000s were all viewed as fatal blows to audio broadcasting. The box sitting on your grandparents' shelf proved to be a highly adaptable system. Whenever a new threat emerged, the medium mutated, finding a new way to fit into our daily routines. Understanding exactly how broadcasters dodged that first massive threat in the mid-20th century reveals the underlying mechanics of how media works today. It shows us how formats adapt to survive. Before the 1920s, communication was heavily restricted by geography. If you wanted to hear a politician speak or an orchestra play, you had to be physically present in the same room. That physical barrier vanished almost overnight. Affordable receivers entered homes across the country, designed as substantial pieces of wooden furniture meant to take a permanent place in the home. For the first time, people scattered across thousands of miles could experience the exact same event at the exact same moment. To feed these new devices, companies had to build massive physical infrastructure. The National Broadcasting Company, NBC, and the Columbia Broadcasting System, CBS, were formed specifically to distribute live programming efficiently across the entire country. Families began orienting their living rooms around the receiver to listen to serialized dramas, comedy shows, and live orchestras. The broadcast schedule began to dictate the rhythm of the evening for millions of households. During the Great Depression, President Franklin D. Roosevelt utilized this direct line to the public. Through his fireside chats, he could bypass newspapers and speak directly to millions of struggling citizens in their own homes, establishing trust and explaining his policies in real time. By the late 1930s, the medium had evolved far past its origins as an experimental novelty. It provided affordable entertainment and a shared national identity, effectively holding the country together during severe economic hardship. When World War II began, the tone on the airwaves shifted. Families relied on the audio broadcasts to get immediate updates straight from the front lines. Broadcasters worked directly with the government during this period. They distributed critical war information, carefully controlled sensitive military updates, and produced content specifically designed to maintain patriotism and domestic morale. The demands of a global war also required better equipment. Extensive wartime research poured into electronic technology, resulting in massive leaps forward in transmitter power, range, and signal clarity. That public reliance and technological investment permanently elevated the industry. It evolved from a tool for evening entertainment into a vital piece of national infrastructure, inadvertently creating the powerful broadcasting tools that would be used immediately after the war. Following the war, a new technology stepped into the living room. Economic prosperity and mass production made television sets affordable for the average family, and they quickly took the physical space the radio once occupied. Television offered sight, sound, and motion all at once. The major networks shifted their resources, moving the popular comedies, variety shows, and serialized dramas, along with their massive audiences, over to the screen. By the 1950s, the industry consensus was virtually unanimous. The screen had won, and the purely auditory receiver was obsolete. Instead of trying to compete with television for the entire family's attention, station owners completely changed their business model. They abandoned the idea of a single, unified mass audience and began targeting highly specific groups of listeners. This strategy is called format radio. Format radio is the practice of designing a station around one specific audience and content type. Rather than broadcasting a little bit of everything, station owners specialized. You tuned into a station dedicated entirely to top 40 hits, local news, or sports talk, knowing exactly what you would get. At the same time, the rise of FM broadcasting, a technology that offered much higher sound quality than older AM signals, provided the perfect clarity for music. Stations used this sound quality to build an intimate relationship with the booming youth culture, driven by local DJs playing rock, electronic, and hip-hop tracks. The medium gave up the living room and moved into cars, teenagers' bedrooms, and workplaces. By transforming from a shared household event into a deeply personal accessory, the industry survived the television era. That mid-century shift, from mass broadcasting to hyper-targeted niches, is the exact blueprint used by today's digital platforms. When you look at massive podcast networks today, with shows dedicated to incredibly specific hobbies or daily news analysis, you are looking at the direct descendant of those specialized talk radio formats. And the local DJ curating a stack of top 40 records for a specific demographic was the analog ancestor to the personalized recommendation algorithms currently powering modern audio streaming apps. Audio content continues to thrive today because it relies on three enduring strengths: the intimacy of a voice in your ear, the immediacy of the broadcast, and a remarkably low barrier to entry for creators. For anyone looking at a career in media, the lesson is clear. The technology used to distribute content will always change. Surviving in the industry means adapting your format to fit how people actually live their lives, rather than fighting against the new hardware. The idea that a new invention will simply kill off an old medium is a myth. The most resilient forms of communication don't die. They shed their old hardware, find a new niche,